Welcome to part 3 of 3 in the Prophecies of Love's Way. A new Earth. A new Earth. Do we make it to Mars or find the reset button on this whole thing? Not quite. Something highly transformational is going to happen to all of our world. And it's not what a lot of people are selling. This vision I had around the year 2011. At this time, I was deeply immersed in internal kung fu and meditation. My practice was paying off, and things were happening to me that were bringing my physical and spiritual worlds closer together. We truly are amazing creatures, albeit quite ignorant in our current form. That's okay though. My ignorance has provided me with a lifetime of laughs. One of the things I love the most about Kung Fu and internal alchemy is that it isn't really dogmatic. You're left to understand your experience from firsthand observation. One time, something happened to me that amazed me. It scared me, and honestly, I had no idea that the experience was part of being human. I had to wait several weeks to have access to my teacher to ask him because he was constantly traveling to teach and heal. When I caught up with him, I asked, "What the hell happened to me? Was this safe? What does this mean?" Now, his response was way shorter than I wanted it to be, but it was just what I needed. He said, "Good. You keep practicing." He knew that as I continued, my experience would teach me. No more words were needed. You are magic human. Keep practicing. Remember to take a breath and look up. Remember to smile and look within.
But didn't you know how the love flow?
The vision I'm about to share, I would equate with the return of Christ as described in both the Quran and the Bible. Yes, I just said that both Christians and Muslims observe that Jesus is coming back to change the world. I would also equate this vision to the Red Kachina, which is a prophecy from the Hopi tribe here in North America. Now, I've had many dreams of the future and premonitions of things to come. This was not that. This vision was a dream given to me directly from the Creator. It was by far the most amazing thing that I have ever felt, and I cannot wait to experience what is to come with all of you. You've heard people say light and love or love and light, that sort of thing. Would you believe that there is a literal light of love? It is a presence in which you are unable to judge another. It's a depth of understanding that shows the reason behind even our own darkness. An understanding that can bring only joy, because one does not make it to this place without relinquishing their chains through this love. This love is different from the love we think we know. This love is the very presence of the Creator. I got to experience the light of love in this vision. It equated to a whole new emotion that I had not experienced before. For a time, after having this vision, I was a bit depressed, knowing that I was here and the light of love was not. That's how good it felt. Every part of my being missed it. You see, in this existence, our experience as a human, we're separated from the light of love. It's intended that we experience this and find our way back to our Creator. This is a matter of consciousness, though. Light was spoken to our world when it was created, and it's up to you individually to find your way back to this source, growing and learning as you do. This is how humanity truly evolves, and why there's yet a great hope for our species. We will grow to become graceful and humble in a powerful way that will break yet a new dawn on the horizon of our awakening. So how was it I experienced this light of love? It was part of this vision in a most spectacular form. I find myself on a plane in the sky, and this is illustrating that it can be any day or moment in life. Obviously, society is still functioning well enough for us to be flying around in planes. In this particular vision, there really is no indication of where we fell in time sequence. On the plane, it's evening or nighttime, smooth flight with no turbulence. Then, in an instant, several things happen at once. There's this booming voice from heaven which said, "There is a new sun." I can't tell you if this was like a real sound that my ears were hearing, or if it was like hearing a voice in your mind. Now, I question this because some of the people on the plane really didn't seem to notice at all. To me, it sounded like a grandiose thing that I had never heard before, and I was certainly taken by it. Having heard this voice, though, I found myself walking down the center aisle of the plane, looking to make sense of what was happening. Apart from the booming voice, there was also a notable change in the sky. It was much darker. I was hunched over, trying to peek out the windows as I passed down the aisle. Being a tall guy on a plane involves a bit of that. As I'm looking, I don't see anything in the sky. It's dark, almost like a super deep purple, and I could see no stars. As I moved down the aisle, something came into view. This big red sphere, which I still struggle to place in terms of what it actually was. Now, having heard the voice, "There is a new sun," I asked the question, was that the new sun the voice spoke of? This wasn't the case, though. I was just grabbing at straws, trying to assemble the events that were happening in the moment. It seemed far more likely to be the moon in terms of its size and perspective. Observing celestial bodies from an airplane, though, isn't a specialty of mine. As my focus shifted away from what I was observing in the sky, my eyes began to find the people on the plane as I continued down the aisle. This is when I began to realize that everything had changed, and that we now had this new emotion to experience and bask in: the light of love. I would look into someone's eyes, and they would look back into mine, and such a joy was shared. We could see everything that ever happened to one another, and were filled with joy to behold the other in all that they had been through. You were so overwhelmed with love, it was literally impossible to judge. You could know everything about anyone only by looking at them. It seemed that many things had changed about us, and we had many new capabilities. I also realized that the voice I had heard, "There is a new sun," that voice was talking about me. I was the new son. Many new sons and daughters were born that day. To quote John 1:12 from the Bible, "But as many as received him, to them he gave the power to become the sons of God." At the same time, many people were no more aware than they were before. As I walked down the aisle, some people had the same simple expression that they had before. There was no realization, no joy shared, even if our eyes met. Their eyes seemed to be without life, certainly without light. There is a change coming for our world. Sure, we're experiencing a global shift in consciousness now, but we will also experience an instantaneous change to all the things in our world. The change won't be just us humans. It'll be our planet and all of her inhabitants, even the plants and the animals. I can only understand so much of what is to come. Like you, I must exist today. Whatever comes, whatever happens, it'll be us who push our human family forward. Even apart from these visions, climate change will still take its irreversible toll. Even at the precipice of our own safety, we're still ravaged by greed and the desire to control others. This is a sickness that will consume even itself before it cares about the future. Here we are, though, you and I, each a product of what we've experienced so far. Each a product of the lies that we've told ourselves in pursuit of an image we claim as our own. Each pressing on in this reality as we discern between the truth and the would-be chains of another's will. We've all grown up being told what products we need and how we should look and what to buy, depending on what team's political or religious preferences we may have. So many people can't even pay attention for more than 15 seconds. And it's ironic that this is how long the average commercial lasts. We've been changed by institutions that we've created. It's time to learn from this experience and create something much better. So that was all of the vision. I experienced an instantaneous cosmic change here on Earth that ushered in the presence of the Creator and the permanence of the light of love here on Earth. We all still have to figure our world out, but we will do so in a new understanding and begin a new age in the human story. Now I realize this is big talk, and I fully realize the weight of what I'm sharing. Had I not experienced these things, had the Creator not given me the vision in jail while I was wide awake, I wouldn't be here sharing this. This has been my life story, though. And if there's truth in my experience, this is also your story. Because you and me, we're family. We are one. Rather than make references to the Bible or the Quran, which are obviously easy to do, I'm going to share part of a lesser-known prophecy that I believe illustrates the same event. That would be the story of the Red Kachina. This story comes from the Hopi people, who are a native tribe in what is now known as Arizona. While I'm a little bit Cherokee, I'm pretty much a white man repeating a story. So if I misspeak or misunderstand from the Hopi perspective, I'm always open to correction. The story has been handed down through oral tradition from generation to generation. I'll recite only part of the Hopi prophecy, but you can find it in books and online. It's not a secret. And now, the Red Kachina. Not far behind the twins will come the purifier, the red star Kachina, who will bring the day of purification. On this day, the earth, her creatures, and all life as we know it will change forever. There will be messengers that will precede the coming of the purifier. They will leave messages for those on earth who remember the old ways. The messages will be found written in the living stone, through the sacred grains, and even the waters. From the purifier will issue forth a great red light. All things will change in their manner of being. Every living thing will be offered the opportunity to change from the largest to the smallest thing. We will receive many warnings, allowing us to change our ways from below the earth as well as above. Then one morning, in a moment, we will awaken to the red dawn. The sky will be the color of blood. Many things will happen and begin to happen that right now we're not sure of their exact nature. For much of reality will not be as it is now. No living thing will go untouched here or in the heavens. The way through this time, it is said, is to be found within our hearts and reuniting with our spiritual self, getting simple and returning to living with and upon the earth and in harmony with her creatures, remembering that we are the caretakers, the fire keepers of the spirit. Our relatives from the stars are coming home to see how well we have fared on our journey. Now that's quite a statement, quite a story, and honestly, quite a bit to unpack. Ultimately, it either speaks to you or it doesn't. I see a similar rhetoric in a few places. Prophecies pointing to our time. Mother Shipton is another great example. The point is that even apart from my experience, there's a lot of chatter on the scope. Something is going down. At the same time, we're witnessing changes in consciousness sweeping across our world. Even in the face of disasters we experience, we find a new softness in helping each other survive, if we're not too bitter. That's why I'm here, to speak love to you. Everything will be okay. Trust in that love coming to our world. As a species, we've been alone for so long. We're separated from the light of love. But this is about to end, and we are about to meet the family. So what are we supposed to do now, seeing that we live in a time which is fulfilling prophecy? Live! Do what you came to this experience to do. You have front row tickets to one of the most amazing times in our history. So be mindful. Consider how you may free yourself and pass that healing on to others. If you don't know Great Father, Source, the light of love, or whatever words you want to use to relate to this, if you don't know, seek and ask. Get to know your mother, the earth. You'll learn to hear and learn to honor more than just yourself. When we remove the focus from ourselves, we become less selfish. We begin to be able to receive things that are outside of ourselves. There's a vast ocean of information and growth waiting for us, and it begins with getting over ourselves. For me, even telling this story and sharing these visions are my way of abiding my journey through this world. It's important to give testimony as we experience these changes. Future generations will look back at this time and perhaps see it as our first baby steps. First baby steps? We've been around for thousands of years. I'm not baby, you're baby. Do not babies cry in their discomfort as they demand that someone else fix the pile of poo which they themselves have created? Even blaming their discomfort on others until the experience of time removes their ignorance and allows even the baby to get over their own crap. Look around the world and even at yourself. We're still dealing with some baby stuff. I know I am anyhow. We're growing though. Baby steps are a big deal though. Soon enough, we'll be able to meet some of the neighbors and even be grown enough to play with others. I know you're magic. I know you really can fly. And I speak love to you in your experience. Thank you for listening. I love you. Thank you for loving me.
Attune your hearts and minds to the quality of appreciation. That is love. For many ages now, we've experienced an existence apart from the light of love that was given to all. And in this experience, we are given access to all the creative knowledge and given the choice of who we will serve, to serve ourselves or to serve all through the law of love. This time is coming to an end. Welcome to the dawn of the fifth rude race, witnessed by heaven, witnessed by earth, and witnessed by our brothers and sisters who have come from all across the universe to observe the seed that was planted so many ages ago. As we look up, and as we look inside and listen, we're all beginning to realize